Hey, happy Sundays to you. Happy Sunday Trails. It's the first Sunday of June 2022. It's your boy Will Call with two Ski Geeks. Sadly, my boy John Michael can't be with us today, but we're going to be two ski geeked out anyway, and we're going to rock this funky joint with some books that are in relevance to some of the sci-fi marathon shows that I've been watching over the last 2 weekends, and in particular, going with the Star Wars genre. So, because we already know what's going on over there in Disney Plus with Obi-Wan, we have 3 episodes that are pristine shows. I love the fact that they went back in the first show, the very first episode, to give you a little bit of history. Uh, and it was somewhat slow, but you needed that in order to get that history. And then they caught you up really fast. And by episode 2 and 3, whew, so good. So, anyway, on that note, because of that, let's look at these two books here from the Marvel side of things with Obi-Wan and Anakin, number one, that you guys can begin to try to invest and find, and Obi-Wan and Anakin, number two. Charles Soule is the writer on these two books, and what makes Charles Soule or Soul depends on how you want to pronounce it with the name. Um, what makes Charles Soule so relevant to the game is the fact that he not only has written comic books, but he's also a writer of books with Star Wars. I'm almost finished with one of the age with a Star Wars Age of the Republic books that Charles Soule wrote, and superb book, and he's just a superb writer as well. He did a great run on Daredevil, and I suggest to you, hey, look up books by Charles Soule or Soule Soule. Um, Great writer again, as I said, and you will enjoy a lot of the good stuff that he's got out there for us sci-fi fans. And so, going forward into this weekend, with a little bit of last, but this weekend I watched The Boys, and so I was not quite sure, with the first few episodes because it's Garth Ennis who does a lot of shock and awe in his writing and also in the depiction of the show. There's a lot of shock and awe, and it is definitely mature themed. Um, so it's not for kids, and hell, for that matter, it might not be for some adults, for that matter. Uh, but it is after the first 3 or 4 episodes, the shock and the awe actually begins to fit into the plot in a logical way, and it is becomes less offensive because it becomes more understandable um, as to just how people are, uh, and people ain't all good. And so, anyway, but it makes sense because of that point I just made. People are not all good. So, anyway, so there are. The Boys was released in 2006. Here's number one. And this is the original publisher. And it was a Wildstorm book originally, um, by Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson. And so this is The Boys number one. I bought this off the shelf when it first came out. And so now I'm going to start moving through because I have a lot of books to go through today. So I'm going to start cruising through. Uh, the Boys number two copies of it, as you can see. Let's see here. Then The Boys number three, the first appearance of the Seven. When you watch the show, it becomes more familiar. That comment I just made about the Seven becomes more relevant to you when you watch the show about the Seven. Triples of number four. And what makes me what makes me have all these copies of the boys is the fact that when no one was looking, brother John Michael and I were hanging out in Atlanta and Little Five Points, and there's a place called Criminal Records there, and it just only not only sells records or albums and music, but it also sells or sold comic books at the time. I'm not sure if they're still open or not, but shout out to Criminal Records back in the day because their back issue boxes were incredible. And as you saw, some of the issues here that I got in my hand, uh, they were dirt cheap. As you see, like the $2 label on it or price tag on these. And this is three of these for number 5. Yeah. And then two number 6s. And actually one number 7. I can't believe it. I guess that was one of the gaps that I found, but they didn't have a lot of them. One number 8. And a couple number 9s. And then a couple number 10s of the boys. And so, yeah, I have the first 10 of the boys, some in doubles and triples, and knew it was a good book from the start. That's why I was buying them when no one really appreciated it, and I didn't think at that time because the content was so groundbreaking at the time that in 2006 when it came out was really unsure if there would ever be that type of show with that type of material. Uh, as I said, Garth Ennis pushes the envelope a lot uh, with violence and sex, and in this regard, it was questionable, but they made it work. And time has matured our tastes and things that were maybe no that were objectionable back in the day or found objectionable are now more acceptable. But I do not recommend watching this with kids. So anyway, that is the boys piece. Uh, Going off of sci-fi a little bit so far as TV shows, but I also wanted to concentrate on one of the artists I want to recommend to you. So far as he's an undersold or underrecognized artist, and even maybe some things undersold. But then there are some books of his that have really kaboomulated, as I like to say, in one of my first videos. So his name is Jeff Dekal, Dekal, Jeff Dekal, or Decal, or how you want to pronounce it, whatever makes it easier for you to remember the spelling. But an amazing, amazing artist. As a matter of fact, when he came out on this book series that I'm about to show you, I didn't know who he was, and I was always trying to figure out who was the artist on the cover, and I didn't dig too hard, but I always loved the cover work on these books. So let me see. I'm going to put these two because these two in 159 of She-Hulk, I will show them to you, but these are not Jeff DeCal. But this run of She-Hulk and also the Hulk. Um, there are books that I don't have up here, and I wish I had them with me. But he did a series called The Hulk with She Hulk, and also this She Hulk run that goes in continuation, that actually goes into the legacy numbering after the Hulk run, because the Hulk run goes like 1 through 13 or something like that. And then we get these She Hulk books that, as you can see in the numbering, and you put the legacy or whatever, but it's also with the legacy numbering. They went to the actual number of what She Hulk would be, besides when they had that Hulk run of 1 through 13. Well, they started renumbering the books and they call it legacy numbering. And it went in the sequence of when She Hulk first came out back in the 80s. And so these books are the next series up, and it would be She-Hulk volume, I want to say like 3 or 4, or series 3 or 4. But anyway, Jeff DeCal. Here we go. This book here, very unique art. Uh, I love the fact that she is drawn is like a monster. And she is also in the gray version of the Hulk, not just uh, the green She-Hulk that we're familiar with, but much like the very first rendering of the Hulk in Incredible Hulk #1. It's talking about Bruce Banner. The very first Hulk book, he was gray, and then he became green later on. And unlike She-Hulk, she was green in the beginning when she debuted, and that's because at that time when she got a blood donation from Bruce, he was already in that green form. However, in this run, she is gray, and so issue 161 with the leader, and she on the bottom, and also as a green and also gray. I love these covers. Jeff Dekal or Decal is an amazing artist. His perspectives are extremely creative. He just smashes it religiously, and I will have pictures of the first Hulk 1 through 13. I'll have pictures of them when I edit this video. I will add them to this video so you can see them. But his work and Jeff Dekal, and again, just as you can see with and I got to get rid of the light. That makes it better. I mean, the perspective is just amazing. With that in the background, the puzzle piece is She-Hulk #1. As you can see, as I had that in one of the more recent videos, what that She-Hulk #1 from the 80s looks like. And so going deeper into Decal's work, he did work on Thanos covers. I don't have #1 here upstairs, and I couldn't find it down in the archives, but Thanos #2. I'm not sure what volume this is or series of Thanos this is, probably like 3 or 4. But this one came out in like 2016 or 17. As you can see, Gamora as a little girl pounding on Thanos. And then you have this one here by Dekal. Again, great perspectives and colors. Great action, even though it's still art, but there's great action in his artwork. Just an amazing use of colors. This Killmonger cover is one of the hot covers going on by Dekal. Just plain amazing. Just plain amazing. I mean, he just kills this. That perspective is just, it's like painted digital beauty. Just amazing. Here's one of his more recent works on Wonder Woman. And this is just sick. It's just what made him come up with this play on artwork between that white horse in the background and Wonder Woman is just, I'm sorry, Wonder Girl. Please forgive me. Wonder Girl is just amazing. And that is Wonder Girl Trial of the Amazons, Wonder Girl #1 that he does that on. And then, so last thing on Jeff Dekal, but it's also going to be on the subject and the title of this book. The latest version, the latest series, and the last probably since issue number 39 of, well, actually, the whole doggone run. But since issue 39 in particular of Catwoman is what I'm talking about. I believe is when Jeff Dekal started, or Decal started on the Catwoman run, and as well as Sozo, Maika, and then you still have the classic Jenny Frison covers as well. So my point in bringing about Catwoman is the fact that you cannot find a bad looking book at all. You buy any book in Catwoman at this particular point in time, you will have a beautiful gem on your hands. So going to Jeff Dekal again, speaking about him, Again, look at those perspectives. It's just, ooh, just beautiful. And lastly, and Jeff Dekal, I'm going to hold this one up. Another Harley and Catwoman cover that he just delivers, just delivers the gold. And so anyway, I'm not going to hold you much longer. I'm going to show one more of my favorite artists and that we've been talking about for a while because he's been killing it too. And so, giving a shout out to Taran Clark. Taran Clark, and we've talked about his artwork on some of the things on Black Panther, but there are lots of other books he's out there. You can Google him up as suppose as about what is his artwork is. But this latest gem right here is just amazing, man. Taran is hitting home runs every time he makes a cover, and so uh, I'm just enjoying the comic book business right now so far as the writing, the artistry, and how relevant these things will be to become mass entertainment products for you, uh, either at home on streaming services or in the movie theater or in games. There's just so much out there to enjoy and be geeked out on and be too ski geeked about. So I'm going to get ready to sign off. I want to thank you for joining me today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our show. We are blessed to have you. We thank you for your attention, and we'll talk to you soon. 2SkeGEEKS out.